Hi all, I'm Amira. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another ranking video. I have a lot of palettes from various brands, and I'm thinking I'm going to just slowly get through ranking said brands palettes that I own. But I wanted to start off. I've done my Pat McGrath ranking, and I've done my Pat McGrath Mothership ranking. I have not done my six pans or my quads yet, which I'm working on. But I've done a Pat McGrath Mothership ranking, and I've done a Natasha Denona palette ranking. So if you want to see those, I will pop cards in so you can click on those and give them a view. But today we're going to do Juvia's Place, guys. We're going to do Juvia's Place. Now, I will say, I did do a bit of a declutter with my Juvia's Place palettes at the end of last year, and I did do a ranking with all of the ones that I had owned at that time on my blog. But my collection has changed. I've gotten rid of some. I've gotten some new ones, which are new to me. They're not new as far as the sphere of Juvia's Place palette releases, but they're new to me. So I have 9 palettes here. We're going to start from the bottom to the top. Let's get started. Like I said, I have 9 palettes. So first up is number 9 on the list, and that is the Warrior palette, the first Warrior palette, so Warrior palette 1. And I shall open her up so you can see her. And that is what she looks like. Beautiful, neutral toned gold brown palette. I don't get a ton of use out of this palette. When I do use it, I always enjoy it, but I don't use it a ton. But it always makes the cut when I'm doing declutters because I just think it's beautiful, and I enjoy having these shades on hand if I want to use them. And I do enjoy the fact that it sort of has these cool tone browns and then sort of warm tone yellowy undertone browns. There's only 3 mattes in here, which I'm not that mad about. But yeah, I don't dislike this palette. And I will say this, none of these palettes are palettes that I would rank as bad. Anything that I didn't enjoy using, I've already decluttered. So this isn't a ranking of like best to worst or worst to best, you know? This is just a ranking of how they stand in my heart as a collection, but all of them are decent palettes in my opinion. So number 9 is Warrior 1. Why am I doing 2? It's number 8. Number 8 is the Deuce palette. And I believe it's Deuce. It's not, I want to say, is it Deuce, Douce? I don't know. Got the little thingy in here. This palette is beautiful. And this is probably, I love this color story. It's so different for what Juvia's Place is known for, which are their really rich jewel toned shades. This is such a fun color story, and I've gotten a lot of use out of this palette. I love like this shade here, this beautiful duochrome here. This silver is so nice because it's a silver, but it's kind of got like a green base to it, like a green undertone that is so lovely. But yeah, this palette is gorgeous, and I wish they would bring it back. This is a discontinued palette for them, and I just wish they would bring it back because it's such a fun, unique color story for them, and I've had a lot of fun with this one. But I don't use it as much as I used to. So that's why it's ranking at number 8. Number 7 is a palette that, I don't use this as much as other palettes on this list, but I love it, and I love having it in my collection. And it's the only all matte palette that I believe Juvia's Place has ever released, and it is the Warrior 2 palette. And this is what the front looks like. I love their artwork so much. This is what the front looks like, and this is what the inside looks like. And it's really just like this really basic matte palette. I think this is one of those palettes that like you could take somewhere with you and just bring a couple of like single shimmers, and you can do a whole look, multiple looks with just this palette. I think it's such a great staple palette. I love the tones in here, and I have a lot of fun using it. This matte kind of brick red is so much fun to use. It's so pretty. So yeah, I enjoy this palette, but much like the Deuce palette, I don't use it as much as I used to, but I enjoy having it in my collection. Next up is one of the minis, and this is the Chocolates palette, and I'll show you what it looks like. And this is the inside, another neutral palette. What I love about this one, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up, it looks a little brighter on camera than it is in real life, but this is like a really rich chocolatey metallic shade that I am obsessed with. And the thing that I love the most about this palette is that it's a really great mixture of like warm tone and cool tone chocolate shades. Like you have these look like, you have this one that's very milk chocolatey, and then you have this one, and they're both dark, but they give you completely different vibes. This one is very warm milk chocolate. This is very like dark chocolate. And then you have this one, which is even more milkier. But then you have these other shades, like this one is more cool tone, this is more warm, and then you have this shade that can work really well in the crease. So it's a really well laid out little palette, and I enjoy using it. I have a lot of fun with this, and I usually like to pair it with other chocolatey palettes. I like to pair this one with the Wild Child palette, and I believe I actually did a video with the ColourPop Wild Child palette, and I actually brought this palette into that look because I believe I used this shade, which is one of the shades I love to reach for in this palette. But yeah, very cute palette. So this is number 5, and this is the Nomad. And again, this just lends itself to my love of all things grungy. Now, again, this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like inside, and I love this color story. Now, having said that, I don't feel like this is the same quality as a lot of other Juvia's Place palettes, but I still love it enough to keep it on hand. It's not terrible quality, it's just I find myself having to work with this more than I usually have to work with Juvia's Place shadows, but I just love the color story. I love this shade. It's like this, it's not black, it's not brown, it's not even like completely green. It looks more green on camera than it is, but it's just like this really, and it's this shade here. It's just like this really interesting grungy mixture of like brown, green, and gray. I love it. It's so pretty. This one here is like a metallic-y. It's kind of like one of those mattes that has like shimmer in them, but the thing about this one is that the shimmer kind of stays where you put it, which is lovely. But yeah, this is a beautiful palette, and even though the formula isn't exactly at the same level as other Juvia's Place palettes, the color story is one of the things that makes me want to keep it, because it's just, look at that, it's just so grungy deliciousness. Next up is the other mini palette, and I only have 2. I think I want to say I had 3, but I decluttered one that I just never used, and that is the Violets palette, and this is the purple little mini. And this one, I really love this palette. What I love is that you get two mattes in it. You get this really dark one, and then you get this kind of nice kind of mid-tone one. So you can really pop this, you can pop this in your crease, outer corner, and then you've got all of these metallics to play with for your lid, which I enjoy. And I would say that all of these metallics, and I'll swatch them off for you guys, are bomb. I mean, look at those. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. Yeah, this is a lovely, lovely palette, and I actually use this more than, like I mean, a running theme. I've said this before, that I always buy purple palettes and then I wind up not using them. But this is actually one of the purple palettes that I've used the most in my collection, because I just enjoy using it, and it's such a nice little neat, you know, concise color story. Next up is one of the newer palettes to my collection. Not new for Juvia's, but new to me. Newer to me. These palettes have been around forever. I think this is, the next 2 that I'm going to talk about have been in their range for years, and I just am slow on the uptake and just decided randomly, like, I should get those. They're really pretty. Every time I would see someone talk about them, I'm like, they're really pretty, I should get them, and then I just never did. And then one day, I finally did. So the next one is the Magic Mini. So cute. Look at that. And I've talked about this palette before, and I just love, I mean, these 2 rows for me make this entire palette. There are beautiful shades at the top. I'm not gonna dunk on these shades, but these shades are what make this palette for me. They're just so nice and fun to use, and the formula is just fantastic. I get a lot of, I feel very inspired when I open this palette up just with these 2 rows. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with these. I just don't tend to reach for them as much. And honestly, if they weren't there, I would still be happy. Like if this was just like those, I would still rave about this palette because I think it's stunning. Next is the other OG Juvia's Place palette that I just bought not that long. I bought this year. I won't say just. I bought them this year, both of these two. And that is the Saharan 2. And it looks like this. How pretty. Sir, why are you crying outside the door? Are you coming in? Show your face. No, you're camera shy? Hi, baby. This is who was crying outside the door trying to get in. Because he's a mama's boy. And he loves attention. And he's purring. I don't even know if the microphone's picking it up, but he is purring so loudly right now. Just because I picked him up, because he's a big baby. But he's my baby. Aww. Okay, can I get back to filming? Alright, can I get back to filming? Can I put you down? Can you let go of my neck? Can I put you down, sir? Alright, there you go. Alright. So, back to this palette. It's so stunning. It's so stunning. And it's all about, like, for me, the nuance of the metallics is really what gets me going. But I also just really love, I'm a sucker for, like, red eyeshadow. And this one here, the center one, it looks brighter on camera, but it's really this, like, deep burgundy. It's more, it's kind of like a mix between a berry and a burgundy. You know, it's got a little hint of purple in it, but not a lot. It's just a fun palette. And for me, even though I love this one, I use more of these. I use this whole palette. You know, like I can reach for any color in here and have a really great time. Whereas with this one, I tend to mostly reach for those last two rows of shades. So that's why this one ranks higher. But the formulas are fantastic on both of them. And I'm kind of like, low-key, like, what took me so long to get these? Because they're awesome. And I'm glad I got them just in case they discontinue them. Because I feel like Juvia's Place is doing that thing where you'll just go on their website and stuff will just be gone. And you'll be like, what happened? What happened? So I'm glad I got them before they, like, you know. And finally, this is another one that I say, like, when I was talking about them just discontinuing things, they didn't really announce that they were getting rid of this. It just kind of disappeared, and then it came back, and then it disappeared again. So I don't know if this is coming back. I believe it's discontinued again. I don't know. Last time I was on their website, it was not there. But yeah, this is the infamous Try palette, and it's my number one. It's my number one. I mean, of course it is. Look at those reflections. Look at those grungy tones. It's so pretty. I enjoy this palette, and what I enjoy is that you can kind of break it up. Like a lot of the times, I'll just do a look with like those two shades with a little bit of that shade. Maybe this in the crease, maybe. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just use these two shades and I'll dip out and maybe use my bronzer in my crease. But you concentrate on those. I've done looks with that and this and that. I've done looks with these shades straight down, just straight down, with maybe a little bit of this in the crease, maybe, but not all the time. But I've done looks with just these. I've done looks, this is what I love about this palette. I've done looks with these three shades. I've done looks with these three shades and these three shades. I've done looks across. I've done looks across. You can use all of these shades together. They work together. And the great thing about this shade here is that it looks like a champagne, but it's not. It's a shimmery, like light greeny yellow. Isn't that pretty? So this one functions really well because it has that green shift and that yellow undertone. You can use that with anything in this palette. It's just a really cool color story, and it's still a color story that when I open that up, I enjoy. I had a hard time because these two, for me, I love every single shade in both of them, but I chose this one as my number one because I've used it more and I've had it longer. But who's to know? I may do an updated ranking and this one may usurp this one. Who's to know? But for me, these two are the bee's knees of my collection, because every single shade in here I enjoy using and I've used, and they go so well together. But yeah, that's my little baby Juvia's Place collection. I had more, like I said, but I've decluttered, I want to say like 3 or 4 over the past year or so. I've just been sort of editing down certain collections that I have within my collection, because I want to make sure that it's things that I'm going to continually reach for. Like I said, I own a crap ton of eyeshadow palettes, and for me, I don't think I'm going to be doing a project pan in 2022. I think what I'm really just going to do is just focus on using my collection and not necessarily using things up, but really getting use out of things and focusing on bringing less in, but enjoying what I have. And I don't know if that's going to translate to a low buy or no buy. I'm leaning more towards a low buy, slow buy type of thing. I've been doing slow buy unofficially for a while now, but I think I'm going to do maybe a low buy for the majority of the year, I'm thinking. But we'll see. Maybe we'll have a little chit chat about that. You guys tell me what you think. What are you guys doing for 2022? Are you doing a low buy, no buy kind of deal? Yes, but that's it. To get back on topic, that is my Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette ranking. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys own any Juvia's Place palettes? What are some of your faves? What are some of the new ones that Juvia's Place has come out with that you're interested in? Because there's actually kind of like a couple from their newer collections that they've had that I'm like, they're calling my name, and I'm not purchasing anything right now, but I'm like, I might have to for them because they're beautiful. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Is there anything from this stack of palettes that you're interested in or that you own? And let me know if there's any of the newer palettes that have come out recently that you're interested in. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.